Start with the pledge of allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call we have tonight, myself, Amy Freak, Ed Spiker, and our assistant Melissa Prunier. And in reviewing of the meeting minutes from last week, we have to make an amendment slightly, yes. Under the budget committee, we voted unanimously to form a budget committee, but we need to amend that to say budget advisory committee. This is not an official budget committee because that has to be done at a town meeting. And I need to, it's good, just like that.
No, you're good.
So then one of you has to make a motion. One of you has to make a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the amended minutes.
I second. All those in favor?
You're a critter?
Yeah, I had a Japanese speed on yet.
Hey,
All those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Sorry.
Just murder it and be on. Let's go.
We have a wonderful piece of correspondence this week. The town has received a check from Camp Coniston as a donation of $5,000. Now, first thing we have to do is thank the Lord. Is I need to make a motion to accept the gift of $5,000 from Camp Coniston as a donation to the town.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then next, I need to make a motion for a proclamation thanking the nonprofit for the gift of the $5,000.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I assume we can get Paul to wrap that all up.
Paul can put this together.
That's what I read.
Yes.
That's why I said that. I am literate. I promise. I can play country dumb pretty well too.
Building permit. Quick FEMA update. You might need help, I hope. Received an email that the emergency declaration was signed for the dates of July 9th through July 17th, which misses our mark by a lot. Since we've heard that, Hope has been reaching out to FEMA in regards to Sullivan County and Croydon specifically. And I also emailed Bruce Ward this afternoon directly to ask for assistance. But Hope, is there any update from you at all? From the time we spoke?
Hi, everybody. Hope Dayton State Representative. And John Kruger, also state rep, is here tonight as well. So it's not actually FEMA that I spoke with last Thursday. It's Rob Buxton, the director
So sorry.
of security. It's okay. But he's the liaison to FEMA for the state. He indicated that he is still trying to get FEMA to extend the dates so that door is not completely closed, that the dates that they approved for, which are not helpful to us, may not be set in stone. But the 3 counties that he was working on for that did not include Sullivan County, so I pressed on him that needed to be included. And he's supposed to be getting back to me, and I apologize, I meant to connect with him today to get an update, and I didn't, but I will tomorrow. There was another piece of that, sorry. Oh, and we need to learn more about if we can get Governor Sununu to declare the disaster for the dates that FEMA didn't cover, at least not so far. Then we could get loan money. It's not a perfect criminal, so pay it back as loan, but it would be better than no resources.
Correct.
So that apparently, I thought that the governor had to declare by the end of August. It's only that he had to declare the request for FEMA by the end of August, but he still could declare his own statement of disaster. I learned today.
Okay, good. Thank you. Ed, can we skip over to the streaming thing? Do you have an update for that?
Yep, Starlink is actually delivered and ready to be set up, provided we have another outlet installed. Everything's good to go. And once that's installed, town hall streams can be in within a week.
Wow, okay.
Unlimited meetings, and everything can be scheduled up to the date of being aired. So
Okay.
everything's good. Everything's on track for that.
And I see the receipts for it, so everything went.
Everything went through now. The only thing that I do have a concern about is the continued payment regarding the card for the town. As long as we can make sure that that's not gonna hit a hiccup, because it's international billing going through Canada. Aside from that, I don't see any trouble.
Okay. Let's take a time out here for a second. Yes, absolutely. It's too quiet in here anyway.
I just want to ask everybody gathered here and folks who might be listening to the stream, how much work that Inspire did to get us to the point of being ready to use Starlink and town hall streaming so that people can in fact follow what is going on with local government and participate in an informed way. I really think we owe it some thanks for this work.
Appreciate you, Ed.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. You have to get an outlet.
It's okay. I mean, I got it. We're
Oh,
good.
all right. I didn't want that to be the only.
We're good.
one that's-
You signed off on it last week. We're good.
Okay.
2 weeks ago.
All right, so the Budget Advisory Committee is next. So we've had 2 letters come in by Jim Morgan and Aaron McKeon. And Russ might be interested as well.
Russ Edwards, obviously a member of the community. Yes, I was going to offer my assistances for the budget committee. and I've been looking up some of it. This will be just an advisory, not what some other towns have, because in order to pass that, you have to put it before the voters and have a ballot on it. It can be rescinded in the future if necessary. In this case, where I've had fairly recent experience doing the budgets, I thought I was going to help anyway, so I'm happy to join the budget committee and work on getting our budget squared away. Knowing it's going to be a bit of a challenge because of some of our weather-related emergencies.
Yes, absolutely.
So from there, I do want to take the time to contact New Hampshire Municipal and perhaps DRA to find out what the exact regulations we have to follow. We do have to follow RSA 32 as far as having a budget committee. If you have an official, there are some mandatory sections from 13 through 24.
Yeah, I was reading those.
The rest of it is part of the initial setup. So once we find out, I'll give you a little bit more information, probably the next meeting.
Okay,
So thank you.
you. So
Further thoughts on the other two?
I am in absolute, Aaron, would you like to stand up at all and say anything, or would you like to stand up and say anything? Or- Okay. I am ecstatic for all three of these members to be on advisory committee with me to help us through this.
I can get on board with that, but I think we need a fifth. Right, usually things are done in odd numbers, and I think it would just be the better way to go, whether it be another person just from town to air their input or not. We have somebody from the school, somebody from the select board, somebody who's done it before for the town. Jim is well-versed in budgets, goes without saying, but I think that maybe a fifth member couldn't hurt. That would just be my opinion.
Okay.
But whatever you decide is fine with me.
I think that's okay, and that gives Russ some time, make sure we have everything done properly, so we don't do anything out of order. Yeah, so we'll ask for one more member.
That's all right with you?
Okay, yeah.
As a point of information, according to RSA, we have between 3 and 12. Wow. So depending upon the size of the community, depending upon the size of your budget committee.
Okay. So we'll put
I mean, I think we're on the smaller end, but I think 5 would be pretty fair.
Okay. So we will focus again on this in 2 weeks, in the next meeting.
Anybody interested, please come forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have to talk about, before we move on to new items, we have to talk about appointing someone, because we do have to appoint someone for the remainder of the term. And I hope that somebody's interested in doing it. We need another select board member. We have to appoint another member until March. I was hoping we didn't have to, but we do. And I honestly don't know how to do it, so.
I think we would have to look into interested parties, because we can't just appoint somebody who doesn't want to do it, for one.
Drag him, make him screaming.
I mean, it's not like, yeah, well, I kind of got there by that means, but do we have any interested parties in the audience?
He's gonna help me with the budget, Amy is interested.
I will help until March, because I don't know what I'm getting into. will that help, or does this person need to then sign on in March for their term?
Oh, you're gonna be on the hook, lady. You're gonna love it.
I'm gonna ask. Of what it is, what's that term? Is it fulfilling the person's last term, or his term?
No, it's only fulfilling until March.
March.
And then you would need to be reelected
Yes.
for either a 1 or 3-year term, I believe.
There's nothing.
Sure, yeah. I'll just go right back to college. I'm willing to be that person if you guys need it, if you are gonna go through the whole process, because I did talk to New London select board members today about that, like, so Warner as an example, has anybody looked at Warner's?
Yes.
Okay. So it's in court about like, of what happened with them, of their lack of members, and court appointed members and all these
Oh.
things. But it's an interview process, so that they then went further to say like, we want your resumes, we want to know who's the most qualified candidate. I'll give you all that information, but are we up against a timeline of, you're gonna start interviewing people, you want to put it out there on Facebook?
I don't necessarily think
and then
we're
if you
up
get
against
somebody,
it.
You'll call
I don't necessarily think we're up against a timeline,
me. Okay.
but I think that we are up against what people prefer in town.
Right.
And if somebody chooses to go to the Superior Court and
Which is
wish
what
to be
happened.
appointed, I think that could turn tumultuous for us. And I would much rather have somebody who's willing to attempt. I'm just saying, I would like to have somebody who's willing to put in the work.
Absolutely. Just need to follow the official process.
Yeah, so let me know.
So let's look into this over the next 2 weeks and make an appointment by the next meeting.
Okay.
Is that,
Absolutely.
I can post about, the people that are interested.
perfect. All right,
Right.
thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Campbell.
All right, and new items,
Mhm.
we have abatements, we had abatements. There was an issue with Loon Lake campus sale. What happened?
I don't know if we're into new items yet.
Here we are.
Okay.
There was an issue with Loon Lake campers selling their lots and being issued tax bills. This occurred because new owners submitting their updated site list with contact info for their site owners. So Paul has done an amazing job and gotten that situated.
I have them here.
They're all right there signed and ready to go. Love it. Did we get both building permits, Ed?
No,
There was one.
We did the new deck.
Septic, one building.
yeah, we,
Oh, okay, there's the septic one? We did that one. Yes. Yep. Oh, wait a minute. Septic.
Those are those.
These are these.
Yep.
mhm.
Okay, and then the building. All right, so we got it. We did it. We good. All right, and then we're gonna move on to public forum. Does anybody have anything?
May I address Claudia? I'm not a citizen.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm John Cloutier. I'm one of your state representatives along with Representative Hope Dame, and there's also Gary Merchant, Wall State, Jonathan Sons. We have 5 state representatives. 2 of us are here tonight. But I'd like to make, let you aware, townspeople and town officials, that next Monday, October 2nd, at 6:30 in Claremont, at the Claremont Community Center, the actual CSD Community Center at 152 South Street, Claremont. The Governor's Advisory Commission on Intermodal Transportation, GAF Commission, which is basically the Governor's Council, the DOT, is going to hold a public hearing on the update to the state's 10-year transportation plan. And this is seeking public input. It's a chance for members of the public, to let public officials know, the members of council. It's not Council Cindy Warmington, it's a council. I don't know if she's your counselor, but she's the counselor. The Clarence is hosting this meeting, and she should be there, and hopefully all the rest of the members of the executive council and DOT officials, maybe even the commissioner himself, although there's no guarantee, but some high DOT officials will be there. It's a chance for you to sound off, make suggestions on what you think the state should be doing with this road, bridge, public transportation, rail, airports, etc. So this is a step, and eventually the asset we can take. It's 25 public hearings around the state. There was one held in Lebanon a few weeks ago, one in Keene last night. So they're going all around the state now, seeking public input. When they're done, make its recommendation, then they will submit it to the governor, probably around the end of November, October, and then the governor will submit his version of the state's 10-year plan to the legislature, and my committee, the Public Works and House Public Works and Highways Committee, is going to have first crack at the 10-year plan, probably starting in February, early March. And then we'll work on it and then send it to the full House. And I said the full House will vote. It goes to the Senate. It'll probably go to the Senate Transportation Committee, where I believe Senator Ward, who's the senator around here, will have a say in it. So I'm just giving you some information, and obviously I'm going to be at that hearing. I'm going to listen to public input of all the people who show up. So if any of you want to come or send a delegation, I know we're all busy and everything, but this is a chance to let DOT and know how you feel, and your legislators, which I plan to be there, and hopefully all the rest of the delegation that represents Clarence Croydon will be there. So I want to thank you very much for listening. Any questions, so I'll answer you, or I'll probably stay till about 9 o'clock or so if you have questions afterwards.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Bruce Jasper. And maybe it's just me, but when people come up to this microphone, I can hear them fine, even though they're talking in this direction. When the two of you are talking, even though the microphone is fairly close, it seems to be too far away. I can catch some of the gist of what's going on. But I think I'm missing some of the details. So yeah.
I've got proximity mics coming to the tune of $1,250. That'll be strapped to the end of each of these tables. You won't miss anything. Give me a couple weeks. You won't miss a beat. You'll probably be able to hear a hummingbird's heartbeat from 12 feet away. You'll be done and taken care of. I promise you, Bruce.
So in a couple of weeks, that'll be the next meeting, so I don't have to worry.
You might or might not. We'll see. Depends on what's installed.
All right. But seriously, I think I can go back and listen to it on YouTube, and I can catch everything that I missed at the actual meeting, and I just prefer to be able to hear it here live. Right. And again, if I'm sitting on that side of the room, I can hear Ed pretty well. If I'm sitting on this side of the room, I can hear Amy pretty well, but I can't hear both of you from opposite sides of the room, so.
You're really trying to get me up on that damn stage.
So the reason you can hear everything off of YouTube is because that's a conference room mic right there that I bought myself to slap on this table when I couldn't hear people mumbling.
Well,
So
okay.
that is picking up everything from me and her. These are projecting through those speakers behind me. And unless I put this little thing right in front of that speaker and I hug this thing right to my chin, you're probably not going to have optimal sound results. I hope to change that.
Darn. It's maybe my last time on this subject.
I'm hoping it might be.
Oh, anybody else? Make a line?
Mine's really easy. Hi, everybody. So, I'm just. Jeez, Brenda. Hi, everybody. Paul Frady, Sound Clerk here in Tax Collector. Sorry. So the filing period for the upcoming presidential primary has been set. If anybody wants to run for president here in the state, you're going to need to go and talk to the Secretary of State's office. But the biggest part that probably affects voters more tangentially, like more right at the moment, is that the supervisors of the checklist is going to hold a session for correction on Friday, October 6th, between 7 and 7:30. So if you don't know your party's affiliation for the primary, if you haven't registered before, please come into the town hall beforehand. We can look up what you are registered as, so you know what ballot you're pulling for the primary. And then moving on from there, if you are a party voter, get out and vote. Let's do this.
The date again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Jason Rhodes, Croydon Fire Chief. As to the letter from weeks ago, I talked to my lawyer. That was a personnel issue, nothing to do with the contract that we had written up. And because we are a private department, that's where it should say it's a personnel issue. And it's personal with the town, just like any employee you hire or anyone else hires. It's no one else's business. But he did say that the contract is written up to protect the town. If anything happens as an incident, the town will not be held liable.
We don't want anything to happen, Jason.
I totally agree with you, 100%.
I 100% can't sign this contract with the amount of people that are concerned with this. And we, as a town, could ask for background checks because we're signing a contract. So I can't sign this right now. I can't.
Okay, then once you discuss it with your lawyer or whatever, then yeah, then I'm just looking for a yes or no, it's gonna happen or not, that's it. If it's no, it's no, if it's yes, it's yes.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Anything else?
Don Lambert, I just want to know, are we going to get fiber optics in Croydon?
I don't know.
Are you referring to the fiber optic internet?
Yes.
I thought that was like a couple years out, right? Is that,
It's supposed to be.
Russ has been working on it.
As of last year, Consolidated cut the contract to the installation of our fiber network. They gave us nothing more than they did between this year and the end of 2026. I suspect part of it is the work that Eversource is doing with the replacement of the power pole and moving the electrical lines to the highway, because they're not only increasing the height and adding three-phase power, they are also moving these from yards to the road and straightening everything out. So it'll be much more easier to attach cable to the power poles and bring it back into the town. They've also been out doing work on individual houses fusing, so that if one house goes out, it doesn't take a whole bunch. So there's a number of different things that are going on behind the scenes, but we're not getting necessarily very good information about it. I can try and see if I can get an update from our contact, but that's an iffy situation anyways. But that's as much as I know at this point.
We think of fiber optics in Hammond.
The other part that plays into that is,
It's kind of tough to do.
the other part that plays into that is, even though it comes into town, doesn't mean it's gonna branch off of Route 10 anywhere near immediately. So that could take exponentially longer than even going through town, especially hitting back roads and back roads off of back roads.
Sorry, one more thought to what you said about people have been questioning about this. Even if you guys decide not to do this contract, we're still going to provide service to this town to the best of our ability with the personnel that we have. I don't see what the difference is between us doing it without a contract or with a contract. Contract was basically to help us out. So that's not just you, that's to everybody out there. I don't quite get it myself, but just so everyone knows, we'll still do the best to our ability to provide emergency services for this town.
Anybody else? I make a motion, we do.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.